Previously on the Cellarwogs, why it's great, gut reaction. When I went to college, I was just a blockbuster dude. I love blockbuster movies. Blockbuster movies overtly explain themselves so that you don't have to think, right? So I don't think that, and in college, in art school, that is not respected. It's like, wow, so you're training people not to think by explaining everything to them. That's not what artists do. The whole point of art is to make people think. That was a real game changer for me in terms of how I saw movies, because I really had an ego when I went into film school, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But I realized as I went, all these lessons were so crucial to me to understanding what film really is. And one of those first lessons, one of the first humblings of my ego, was that I was complaining about the movie Babel. I had seen it, and at the time, before going to college, I was watching the Oscars, and I got tired of seeing movies win that I thought shouldn't have won, and so I had given up on them. And one of those last movies that I'd watched was Babel, and I was complaining in my screenwriting class, saying, man, Babel doesn't make sense. I don't understand this movie. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good movie. And then the teacher said, well, do you know the story of Babel? And I said, yes. And he said, what's the story of Babel? The story of Babel is about how people used to be able to talk to each other. Everyone used to have the same language, but God, and they were building a tower, but God destroyed the tower and made everyone speak gibberish so that they couldn't communicate with each other. And basically the teacher kind of said, well, then what's the movie Babel about? It's about a bunch of people who can't communicate with each other, but they need to, they have to, in order to survive. And he was like, aha. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? So here was me watching a movie that didn't explain itself to me, Babel, right? And I thought it was a bad movie because I didn't understand what it was really trying to say. And in one conversation with a couple questions, and then, and I have to give kudos to that teacher because nobody else did that. Everyone else condescended to me and smacked my fucking brain right out of its skull with how stupid I was with other things that I did wrong. But this teacher was so smart and so elegant with just asking me questions and making me think. He made me understand what the story was by making me think. And so that is one of those lessons that has always sat with me.